This is the new Skoda Elroq. Skoda's small? This isn't small. This is a medium-sized SUV. A lot of people have been getting this car confused, and in fact, it's quite big. It's closer in size to an ID4 than it is to an ID3. It's based on the MEB platform, of course. It's pretty much identical in size to the Ford Explorer. Continue. Okay, thank you for that. It's not a small SUV, it's a mid-size SUV. As I say, it's on Volkswagen's MEB platform and pretty much identical in size to the Ford Explorer. First of all, I want to say a huge thanks to Vantage Skoda in Morecambe for making this video possible, to Toby, the sales manager, and also to Jeremy. All of their links are in the description down below, so do make sure to check them out. Let's start off with the exterior design of the new Elroq. To the front of the Elroq, you've got a very sleek look, which also the new Enyaq facelift has taken inspiration from. So you've got this blanked off grille, if you like, which is never a grille because it's built up from the ground electric, but that's in black. These eyebrow sections, if you like, and then your lights down here. As standard, you do get LED daytime running lights and LED headlights. However, these are the Matrix available in the Plus package or standard on Sportline and VRS models. So they look a little bit more stylish, the daytime running lights. And you've also got the more advanced Matrix LED headlights, which are able to turn corners, etc. The indicators are pretty cool with these. I'll show you them. So you can see it's not like sweeping like a sequential one like an Audi, but it's very bold and clear. Indicators at the back of the car are more so Audi-like though, with the sequential style when you get the LED taillights with the Plus package, or the standard Matrix lights with Sportline and VRS, so quite a nice premium touch to the vehicle. There's plenty of exterior colours to choose from on the Elroq. As standard, it comes in the solid energy blue, which has been in Skoda and Seat's range for many years. I'm not a fan of that as a solid colour, it doesn't look the best. Optional paintwork starts at £680. Let's start off with the solid colours. You've got the new Timiano green, which is exclusive to the Elroq, which is that light sagey green colour. I do really quite like that. It's grown on me. I wasn't a fan at first, but it's quite nice on the vehicle, something a little bit different. You've also got the Meteor Grey, £680 for that solid classy look on the vehicle. There's 4 different metallic options to choose from, all £680, including the Race Blue, which is a bit sportier, especially on the Sportline model. You've also got the Moon White. You wouldn't really know that's metallic unless you get very close to the vehicle, but it does look really good. Graphite Grey, and last but not least, this one, which is Black Magic, and it's very clearly a metallic paint. It's really nice, the Black Magic paintwork on Seat and Skoda vehicles, so this looks very classy on the vehicle. Last but not least, you've got the exclusive paintwork option of Velvet Red. That is over £1,000, but it does admittedly look quite good on the Elroq. I'm not normally a red fan, but I think it looks good. If you go to VRS, you get a metallic paintwork as standard, and also you get the exclusive solid hyper green as standard as well, which looks incredible. You can't get that on anything else on the range, just the VRS. That looks great. I would love to see an orange on the Elroq, especially like the orange seat belts. That would look really cool. If it was my choice, I'd probably choose Race Blue. How about alloy wheels on the Elroq? Well, they range from 19 to 21 inches. As standard on SE and SEL, you get these 19-inch silver Proteus alloy wheels. Not the most exciting, but they look okay on the vehicle. If you go up to the Edition model, you get these 19-inch Regulus alloy wheels. These are a £555 option on SE and SEL, so you can opt for them. Going up to Edition, it also allows you to opt for some extra wheels, such as the 20-inch silver Vega alloy wheels. They're really nice. Even though they're just one colour, they do suit the car, and they're in a lot of the promotional material for the vehicle. They're £620. Also £620 is the diamond cut Neptune alloy wheels. If you go to the Edition 85 like this one, you also have the option for the 21-inch Supernova alloy wheels, which are over £1,000. They do look good on the vehicle, but they will reduce your range slightly and also make the ride a little bit firmer. Going up to the Sportline model, you get the exclusive 20-inch Sportline alloys, which look really sporty and suit the look of the vehicle. Or you can opt for the 21-inch Supernova black alloys. Then onto VRS, you get the 20-inch gloss black alloys, which look great. Or you can opt for the 21-inch Vision alloy wheels for £620. There's loads of choices there to choose from. My favourites being the Sportline alloys. To the side, the Elroq has got very short overhangs at the back and at the front, making it look very planted and sporty. This is further accentuated if you go for 20 or 21-inch wheels, but even on these 19s, it looks really good. Of course, you have that really good chunky sidewall as well, so you have quite nice suspension. It evens out bumps really quite nicely. You've got very crisp lines down the side of the vehicle, very much so like the Enyaq, just shrunken down a bit. This is also where the trickery comes into play, looking like a small car. So the rear, the Elroq, is quite simplistic again, very Enyaq-like, and it's got that flat rear that we see on the Kamiq, for example. So it looks quite good, stylish, but not the most exciting, but I think it's very palatable and you can't really argue with it. You've got what model designation you've got there. So this is the 85, so you have the little 85 badge there, and then Skoda spell it out across the tailgate. The Sportline and VRS models are further sportier at the rear of the vehicle, and this has got the Plus package, so you've got the signature LED rear tail lights as well, which look fantastic. Got pretty instant acceleration, which is good fun. Yeah, it feels rapid, this one. I don't think you need more power than this. Being the 85 model, it's got the bigger 77 kilowatt hour usable battery pack, up to 360 miles of range, and the more powerful 282 brake horsepower rear motor. That gets you from 0 to 62 in just 6.6 seconds, which is really impressive. And it's got 545 newton meters of torque. Being rear wheel drive as well, goes around corners nicely because you've got your steering axle and your power axle, so you can just accelerate out of the corners, which is quite good fun. That's good. That's powerful. Instant torque definitely is there. The grip in the dry is good as well, even on these Kumho tyres. In the wet, they're not normally as good, these, but you do get hand hooks when you go for the 20-inch alloys. You generally get better, more premium tyre brands, so that's good. If you do want all-wheel drive though, the VRS model is all-wheel drive with 335 brake horsepower. See how tight the turning circle is? Whee! Very tight turning circle because it's rear-wheel drive on the MEB electric platform. That really is a great benefit. Brakes aren't too bad, a little bit spongy feeling, but they're not bad. We'll go up onto the dual carriageway so you can see it at a faster speed. Obviously it's quite a heavy car, but that extra power really helps. So it just depends on which battery you go for. It comes with more power basically, which is good. So the smallest battery's got the least power, and then it goes up. So if you want more power, you've got to have a bigger battery and vice versa. Regen is nice, so you can have it on or off basically, the regen. I'll come off the accelerator now. The car basically just crawls along at 4 miles an hour, which is like the Volkswagen Group standard kind of crawl along, even in a petrol car. Would be nice to have a one-pedal driving mode though, because like I say, it just kind of crawls along. Then when you put your foot on the brake, the hold comes on there, so you've got auto hold. You can easily turn that on or off there, but it does remember that you've had it on, which is really great. And then you can just put your foot down and get anything at the lights. The slowest is the 50 model, which is 9 seconds 0 to 62, which is still really quite good. 168 brake horsepower is standard on the 50 SE model. Going up to the 60, you've got 201 brake horsepower to the rear wheels. And then on this 85, you've got 282 brake horsepower, with the top spec VRS giving you 335 brake horsepower. The SE50 will give you up to 233 miles of range, and the longest range Elroq is the Edition 85 model, and that'll give you up to 360 miles of range, which is really quite competitive. Kind of a range to suit everyone. That over 200 miles is quite reasonable, or if you go for the 60, you're getting more, and an 85 furthermore. Charging them, they can all do 10 to 80% in under half an hour, which is excellent with your fast charging. On the 85 model, it's up to 175 kilowatts, which is really rapid charging, something that you won't see on the smaller vehicles. Mostly they're about 100 kilowatt charging, so that's really good. Of course, home charging is where you're going to be wanting to charge it to get the best value for money from the vehicle, and 11 kilowatt charging is standard across the range. That means you can fully charge a 50 in around 5 hours, which isn't bad at all, and one of these 85 models you'll be able to fully charge it in under 8 hours, so that's really nice that you have that as standard. You can of course still charge it on 7 kilowatts, that'll take a bit longer. Skoda have got a really good charger calculator online as well, which will show you what range you can get and also how long it'll take to charge depending on what charger you're using, so that's excellent. I like the blind spots as well on the inside of the mirrors. I think that's really nifty. Adaptive cruise control isn't standard, but it is standard on this Edition model. It's 50 now, 40 to 50. That was literally like a second. It's quite sharp as well. It's a corner, which is good, even on these 19s, which is the smallest wheel you can get. So at 70 miles an hour, it's very quiet. I thought there'd be more wind noise from the mirrors, but there isn't any. Yeah, very refined. So we'll go up one junction on the motorway. Very quiet, very comfortable and refined. It's really good. Yeah, I'm surprised by how quiet it is actually. And obviously you'll normally have your music on, etc. If you do get the VRS model, you do get the DCC, Dynamic Chassis Control, which is very clever. So it kind of analyzes the dampers and will adjust the stiffness of them, make the ride smoother or sportier, which is quite good. And then the Sportline 85 comes with sport suspension as standard. It's quite planted and grounded like the Ford Explorer. It starts at that cheaper cost though, so that's where it's going to draw more buyers in. If you do want the premium sound system though, electric tailgate, etc., packages can add up. It does feel kind of in a way more premium than the Kia EV3. That feels more modern though, somewhat, and a bit more quirky inside, but I think this is more palatable for the masses, if that makes sense. This feels more homely than a lot of cars, so it feels just comfortable and familiar in a way, which is nice. This is the 5-inch driver's display, which is across the range. It is quite small, but it shows you everything that you need, so I'm not really bothered by that. You can get a heads-up display in one of the packages, but again, this gives you everything you need. You can also see different displays on there if you want. You can have the speed in the middle, which is really great, and it's in full colour, very high definition as well. I like that the indicators come up there as well. They're very clear. It's just very simplistic and user-friendly. You can just jump in and kind of feel at home in it, which is great. Regen's nice and strong, just not to a full stop, but better than none, and good that you've got the auto hold as well. So you may not have one pedal driving, but you do have that auto hold, so you can slow down to a creep and then use your foot brake to come to a stop and it'll hold the car. So it's almost as good as one pedal driving. On the other Volkswagen ID products, the digital display is kind of set a little bit above, and I do actually quite like that on the vehicle, whereas this one's kind of inlaid and set back and got this hood on it over there. Yeah, brake's very smooth there, not too grabby either, which can be a problem in quite a lot of electric cars. Driving it, yeah, it's smooth, it's refined, very comfortable. Suspension's really good too. If you went for the 20-inch wheels or 21s, it's going to have more of a planted feel, so we'll have less roll in the corners, etc. Obviously the battery in the floor does help that, but I think this is quite good. It's quite composed. If you do go round a corner though at some speed, you are going to feel a bit of roll in the vehicle. Yeah, a little bit of roll there in like a sharper corner. We'll come around this one now. A bit of roll. But it's not a sports car and it's composed generally quite well. It's not bad, but that's obviously for the supple ride as well. It's nothing like the EC4 though, which is really quite floaty and quite wallowy. This is a little bit more tight. It's also nowhere near as firm as the Audi Q4 e-tron, which does have quite a firm suspension setup. So as I say, very similar to the Explorer. There's an ID4. These as well are so much cheaper than the Volkswagen ID4 and only a little bit smaller. Twisty road. I mean, you can have a bit of fun in it. Whee! Fast, pretty rapid. Like I say, I think if you want to have more fun, the 20s are going to give you a little bit more of a more dynamic suspension setup. Obviously, for ultimate fun and grip, etc., you're probably going to go for the VRS model, but that does come at quite a higher cost. The safety assistance systems as well aren't too bad at all. Yeah, lane assist has been on and it's not bothered me at all. So it'd be very interesting to compare this to the MG S5 as well. I am reviewing that car soon, so you will be able to see that. Very similarly priced vehicles, but the benefit of this is that you've got range up to 360 miles, whereas the MG S5 has only got range up to 298 miles, so it wins in that case. There's quite a lot of familiar Volkswagen Group equipment in here as well, such as the mirrors are ID4 mirrors, the indicators are Golf indicators, stuff like that, which makes it feel, yeah, familiar and quite tactile. go, and you can see when you sit in the car, it basically starts itself. You put your foot on the brake, and then there you go, which is good. This 13-inch touchscreen is standard, but it is facing slightly away from the driver, which is a pet peeve of mine. I'm not a big fan of that. This is really nice materials though, with the orange stitching. Again, looks really nice. That is different depending on which trim you go for. I think this is my favourite. The lodge is quite cool, and nice that the light sections are easy to clean, that are wipeable. As standard, it comes in the loft seats, which is more of a darker grey fabric. This is the lodge configuration, which is £600 optional extra. It's really quite nice, and really nice to see an improvement in the interior quality from Skoda. Quite often Skoda fabrics do feel quite cheap and don't wear the nicest, whereas these do feel much more premium and will hold up better over a longer period of time. We've got this 2-spoke steering wheel with synthetic leather, again very similar to the ID vehicles from Volkswagen in that way. Nice handles, good soft touch materials all over the door cards and on top of the dash as well, which is really nice to see. Cup holders down here and plenty of storage, and your armrest with a storage bin in there, another storage bin underneath there as well. So it's really quite practical in here, which is nice. You've got loads of headroom as well for the driver. This has got the dark headlining on the Lodge trim. The other trims have got a light headlining. If you go for Sportline or VRS, you'll also get a dark headlining. The VRS interior is absolutely beautiful with all the green flashes. It looks excellent, and even the Sportline interior has got some Alcantara, so that looks really sporty as well with the bucket seats, integrated headrests. I think this is cool, especially with these luminous orange seat belts. Is really nice to see, something a bit more fun. You can also go up to the Suite package, which gives you the leather seats. That is £1,750, so you've really got to be spending a lot of time in your Elroq to justify that cost. In my opinion, it's a little bit too pricey. Adding options, it does get quite pricey, the Elroq. So if you're looking for an affordable car that's relatively well equipped, the standard models do that. But if you want the more luxury features like the sound system, the 360 cameras, etc., once you add those features, you can be getting closer to the price of the Ford Explorer, for example, on the list price anyway. The most important thing though is monthly prices, and a lot of people prefer the Elroq and prefer that kind of family feel to the vehicle and very familiar vibe. So it's going to be a popular option. So inside, you got your 5-inch screen there. You can go through the different displays here like so, and then when you move in, this changes so you can see your trip, etc., which is good. As you can see, it's reading 40% at 158 miles, so that's really quite impressive. And you can see there over 32 miles, that's mostly on the motorway, average 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, which isn't too bad at all. The claimed is 3.9 to just over 4, so not bad. This has also got the heat pump, which is £1,100 optional extra, but today it's 17.5 degrees, so perfect weather for an electric car. I'd definitely recommend going for the heat pump though here in the UK. Built-in nav is on SEL and above. It's not standard on the vehicle. You go on here, you've got wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. The sound system's not bad on this. Canton sound system's actually very good, but that's quite expensive, as I say. It's one of the higher packages, which will give you a heads-up display and 360 cameras as well. The higher the trim you go for, the cheaper the packages cost. Standard equipment is good though, with rear parking sensors, a rear view camera, show you the rear camera. Go very clear. When you steer the car, it does steer a bit the lines, which can be a bit disorientating, but it's not too bad. It's very similar to Volkswagen, very familiar. Some things about the ID cars are good. You've also got some buttons down here, which is nice. Climate button here, which just brings up the climate control, so that's all easy enough as well. Drive modes is SEL and above, so you've got Eco, Normal, Sport and Individual. You can change a few bits and bobs with that. You can also get dynamic chassis control, which is standard on the VRS model. Additional standard features on this mid-spec edition model include the roof rails in the silver. You've also got the keyless entry and start, which is a really nice feature as well. It also does give you wireless phone charging and your adaptive cruise control too. So those are all over the SEL model. So Edition is kind of your mid-spec trim, currently the most popular in the UK. And as it is a family car, practicality is very important, so let's see how that is. Oh, it worked first time. Not always happens. This cable bag is so clever. easily able to get your cables out and you're not burying them under the boot floor, you know, not very practical. This is such a great feature on the vehicle, and I'm sure many more manufacturers are going to start implementing that. So you've got these shelves here as standard, which is really nice. You can further opt for other nets with the storage pack and also reversible boot tray for £250. So that further adds to the practicality, but this is great as standard. You've also got a 12-volt socket there and a useful hook, another hook there. Another shelf here. 470 litres, how does that stack up against the competition? Well, it's 10 litres bigger than the EV3, which we're 460, and it's 20 litres bigger than the Ford Explorer, which is very similar to. So that's great. It's not quite as big as the Enyaq, of course, it's a smaller car, or the ID4, but it's a little bit smaller than both of those cars. The Renault Scenic also beats the boot space of this car, but it's really quite practical. So thumbs up to Skoda, they know how to make a practical vehicle, don't they? You've also got this screen section as well that you can use to kind of hide the cables there, which just makes it look a bit neater. So they've thought of everything really, which is nice. Also, you can opt for the adjustable boot floor, but you get this as standard. I'll show you this now. There we go. So you've got a parcel shelf. A literal parcel shelf that you can actually put things on, not up here and have them falling off. That's such a good feature, isn't it? So you're able to actually put lighter items on top here and have things underneath, or have it as a separation. So that's so clever. You can easily still lift it up and it'll stay there. Oh, it slides down. See, they thought of everything. It's very clever. Under here, there is a bit more space, tire inflation kit, etc. And then it's just flat under there. You do have to opt for the electric tailgate standard on some higher trims. And how about rear practicality in the Elroq? Well, useful handles continue through the back, which is nice. They don't feel the most expensive, but the car's not the most expensive, so that makes sense. But as I say, as with up front, the materials of the seats feel especially premium, especially with this lodge interior. In the back, you've got this central armrest with cup holders with really good support here for bottles, so that's really handy, nice to have that. You've also got a ski hatch, which allows you to put longer items through there, which is excellent. You've got ISOFIX points which are connected, however they are very big and exposed, which means they will be very easy for families, of course, to access. Floor is pretty much completely flat. This one's got the tri-zone climate control with the winter pack, so that includes the climate control for the rear seats and also heated rear seats as well. Middle seat, how is that? Well, as I noted at the Paris Motor Show, it's actually quite a comfortable middle seat. This with the leatherette means it's a bit firmer for the middle seat, but it's really not too bad. It is one of the better ones out there, so that's excellent. You've also got pockets in the backs of the seats as well, and you've got 2 USB-C ports down there. So yeah, it's really good. You can further add to the practicality with the storage pack, which adds a little tray down here for cup holders, etc. And accessories, you can put tablet holders on the back of here, things like that. So they've kind of got something for everyone, especially for families. Skoda's very family oriented. So yeah, very, very nice. Loads of knee room, loads of headroom. I'm about 5'8", so not bad at all. Even with tinted windows and dark headline, it's still nice and bright. So then, what are my final thoughts on the Skoda Elroq? Well, I think it's a great option. And honestly, if you're looking for a car which combines range, practicality and price, then the Skoda Elroq is a winning formula because it starts at just over £31,000. The range is up to 360 miles on a charge, which is very good, and also it's very practical. You've got a large boot, you've got loads of interior space. Even though often it's described as a small SUV, it's about 18 centimeters longer than a Kia EV3, so it is a true family vehicle. You've got a lot of standard equipment as well, like the rear camera, rear sensors, and then this edition model adds extra bits and bobs like the wireless phone charger, the adaptive cruise control, keyless entry and start as well, and keyless lock-in, of course, which is great. You've got power folding mirrors and just tweaks that we've seen Volkswagen Group learn from the ID range initially have been implemented, like proper physical buttons and shortcuts at the bottom as well to really help things. Some things could be better, the screen could be facing towards the driver, and a few tweaks could be made here and there. But if you're looking for a sensible, practical electric family vehicle, the Elroq is definitely one to look at. Thanks again to Vantage Skoda in Morecambe for making this video possible. As I say, all their links are in the description down below. You can check out what offers they've currently got on this Elroq, or even take one for a spin. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.